Hello, my name is Marilyn Curry. I'm an attorney in Paso Robles, California. I've been in practice for about 19 years, and I've practiced employment law and conducted numerous seminars. So my purpose today is to present a short little seminar on what to do, what an employer should do in the event that they're faced with a complaint of discrimination in the workplace. We'll explain a little scenario and hopefully give you some good tools and tips to get through it so that there's not a big bad liability for the employer at the end of the situation. There really are best ways to deal with this, and if you can follow this methodology, you really can get through it. It's a little scary, it's not what anybody wants to deal with, but it's the real world, it is what happens in the workplace. So our scenario is that our human resources professional by the name of Harry is at work on a Friday, and he thinks he's going to have a nice slow afternoon. When he comes back from lunch, there's a letter on his desk, and the letter says, "Dear Harry, I've worked for this company now for about 6 weeks, and my boss, Andy, is sexually harassing me. He is a bully, he acts inappropriately in the workplace. I can't stand this anymore. I think my best solution might just be to quit. But I'm a big girl, I'll handle this myself, so don't concern yourself." Oh my gosh, now Harry has a big job to do for the afternoon. Under the law in the state of California, his obligation is to provide a full, fair, and thorough investigation immediately. So he has to jump on this. What should he do? First, he should think about who Andy is. If Andy is a manager or a higher up in the company, maybe Harry shouldn't do this investigation. Maybe he should bring in an outsider. Because if he is subordinate to Andy, the view could be that the investigation is tainted. But assume Harry's going to do the investigation. First thing for him to do is to bring Clara in and to clarify her allegations. Simply to say she's being harassed, no. We need the particulars. When? What happened? Did Andy touch her? Did Andy say bad things to her? What exactly are the allegations? When did they occur? How long has this been ongoing? Who are the witnesses? All of these things need to get documented and investigated. It's best if you can have Clara write it up with the particulars and sign off on it, but if not, Harry needs to flesh out exactly what happened here and investigate each and every point and ask her who are witnesses, and then Harry needs to talk to the witnesses about this. He should emphasize that emphasize to Clara, the investigation will remain confidential to the extent that he can keep it confidential, but it must be done under the law. He has no option to ignore it. He should also indicate to her that he's very grateful the company supports her in making this claim. It will do the right thing, and thank her for bringing it to his attention, because if we don't know about it, we can't cure it. So then he should go and speak with Andy. Tell Andy exactly what are these allegations and let Andy respond. Is Andy going to deny everything? Is Andy going to say, well, maybe I was a little inappropriate here or there? What is Andy's side of the story? Then Harry just needs to go through each and every one of the witnesses, find out what they know, document with particularity having to do with each of Clara's allegations. What did he find out? This one was unsubstantiated. That one has some evidence. This one had 6 witnesses, whatever the facts are. Then Harry needs to write this up, present it to upper management with a recommendation as to how are we going to deal with this? Are we going to issue a written warning? Are we going to terminate? Are we going to just tell Andy, gee, nothing was substantiated. Please don't, please understand what our policy is. If that is the case, he should at the end of this meet with both Clara and Andy. Andy should sign off on the policy whether anything was substantiated or not. We should be able to tell Andy, okay, we didn't find anything in this situation, but here's our policy, 0 tolerance, sign off on it, make that part of the investigation file. Clara should be told, again, she should be thanked for bringing this to the attention of management, and we should check back with her. If it's unsubstantiated, we're not going to terminate Andy, but we check back with her then very periodically. Is everything okay? How are you doing in the workplace? Just remember that we really don't know whether it's sexual harassment unless and until a judge or a jury tells us it is. And so we need to make sure that we put our fence around the problem that's occurred, so that if something comes up on the back end, if this is not the end of it, we're going to have a good, intelligent investigation file where we have substantiated what happened, what our result is, and how we treated it. The other very important thing to remember here is not to retaliate against anybody that cooperates with the investigation. They should all be told that. And we want to make sure that we treat everyone the same way every time. So if there was a similar allegation against a manager 2 years ago and he was terminated, then we better terminate Andy. Or we better not terminate Andy if we didn't terminate Joe. The employer is going to want to be able to show that everybody is treated the same way under the policies every time, regardless of their age, their sex, their national origin, all of those protected bases. So if Harry follows all of these rules and does his good investigation and is thorough and complete and applies the same rules to everybody the same way every time, he's going to be, the company is going to stand in good stead should this end up going farther. So he has got his new little tools in his toolbox if he follows this methodology, and the company should be protected. Thank you very much.